Hey there, Jeff and Ryan here from MASH Matters, and today we're not talking about MASH. Jeff, we're talking about love. Exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. We're expecting you to love this new podcast called the Love Boat Podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, that is exciting, the Love Boat podcast, because everybody on the Love Boat was terrific, still is terrific, and they're all on the podcast.
Yes, we have a podcast about the Love Boat hosted by original cast members Fred Grandy, Ted Lange, and Jill Whelan. That's Gopher, Isaac, and Vicky hosting this brand new podcast about the Love Boat with special guests. And the episode that you're about to hear, we're going to share an episode of the Love Boat podcast with you because this particular episode features Loretta Swit.
And you all know who Loretta Swit is, and we love Loretta Swit.
Oh, yes.
And we love the Love Boat, by the way, too.
Yes,
Don't we?
Yes, we do. This was her final recorded interview. But we're going to play it for you right now, and you can listen to Loretta talk with Jill and Fred and Ted, and also Bernie Capel stopping in for a great conversation about her life and career and creating work that stands the test of time. She talks a lot about MASH in this episode. She talks about her memories from the Love Boat and a lot about the friendships that shaped her career. So we're dropping it here because Loretta mattered to you and to us, to everybody. And if you want to hear more episodes from the Love Boat podcast that features behind the scenes stories and classic TV nostalgia, you'll find the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. You can also hop on loveboatpodcast.com. In fact, Jeff, their second guest after Loretta is Jamie Farr.
Oh, I want to listen to that one.
Yes.
And I hope they bring the Love Boat television show back on the air. And I hope they hire a goofy cook named Private Igor as the cook on the Love Boat. Wouldn't that be a great idea?
We need to talk to the folks from the Love Boat podcast about this. I think they can. I think they have some pull.
I hope they do.
Anyway, here is the episode of the Love Boat podcast featuring our friend Loretta Swit.
Before we begin, we want to take a moment to honor the incredible Loretta Swit, an icon, an artist, and a very dear friend to all of us. This conversation was the final interview she gave, and we are so grateful to share her voice and her humor and her wisdom one more time.
Loretta was a dynamic personality. She was wonderful. And once she set her sights on where you should be dancing, you had no choice but to dance. She was like a big sister. She was like a lovely big sister and a wonderful, wonderful veteran that would pass on the information to you.
She was such a joy and had such a love for the industry that we have all been lucky enough to work in for so many years. And to have somebody who had such affection for the craft, and it didn't matter where you were in your career or what level you were, she was a generous, kind person. And I so enjoyed our time with her.
I miss her. I love her. And I think she was fantastic.
There is the ship's horn, which means you are on board with the Love Boat podcast, hosted by yours truly, Fred Grandy, also known as Gopher Smith, your yeoman purser, featuring my distinguished colleagues, Ted Lange, known as Isaac the bartender, and of course, Jill Whelan, the captain's daughter, Vicky Stubing, and now to our distinguished guest star.
Can I introduce my friend?
You may do that. Let's do that right now.
Because we want to talk to her. It is the lovely Loretta Swit. also known as Hot Lips.
I actually prefer Major because I like outranking everybody on the board here, but it's okay. It's okay. As long as you pucker when you call me Hot Lips, and I accept it.
Okay.
Well, now when you did our show, you were probably of a higher rank because you were playing a Russian commissar in the episode. It was called Anushka.
What a great time. What a great time. Of course, my love, Bernie. We were so good together, and it was a real highlight for me, that show. And because I did, I think three love boats. I did the pilot
You did.
with Mulligan.
Yeah, with Richard Mulligan and Robert Reed and Pamela Bell. It was
I helped you guys get on the air.
absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, Mulligan was, genius.
You helped Cagney and Lacey get on the
Oh, I
air.
made they
Yeah.
tried when they finally approached me, they had been trying like for 6 or 7 years. They even offered the network Raquel Welch in my role.
Really?
Wow.
Believe that I won over Raquel Welch.
I
What,
believe it. I believe it.
Easily.
Well, you can
easily.
act circles around her. So there
Yeah.
you have it. You are spectacular.
I really she is who she is. You're gonna hire her for that, do it, She's very good in whatever happened to Sheila, whatever the name that is, that what
What
happened.
you
Oh,
talk
yeah, the mystery thing.
the Stephen Sondheim thing?
It was very
No,
good.
no. It's a
If she
movie.
has the right director and a good script, she's there for you.
The Last of Sheila.
That's Stephen Sondheim wrote that script.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Stephen Sondheim
Oh.
wrote that script.
Oh, okay.
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I look for the songs. I didn't see any. So listen, Loretta, we have another guest from your past. He's on here with us. He's
As per your instructions, my dear.
yes.
I like to think of it as a request.
Well,
Yes,
we-
it was.
We took it as do this or die.
Show yourself, Bernie Coppell. Are you there?
I'm right here.
Hello, my love. How are
Hello,
you?
my darling.
You wrote this sweet note after we did Ninochka or Underscale.
Yeah.
And I still have it in my my treasury box. But we had such a good time, didn't we?
I saw the episode again last night.
It works, doesn't it?
Oh, worse. Oh my.
Oh, it's timeless. I mean, but Loretta, tell us, where did you come up with the Russian accent? Where did you?
I'm Polish. Actually, your powers that be thought that they would offer it to either me or Natalie Wood, who's Russian. Was
Mm.
They made the right choice with you.
well,
Absolutely.
Natalie would have done a hell of a good job too, but I think that Bernie and I had magic. Yes, I think that Bernie and I really had chemistry, and we loved both parts. I know Bernie, of course, loved doing Doc, and I really loved the words. Some of the words that they gave me to say, like Bernie is proposing. He wants me to stay with him on this
Right.
boat. And I said to him, "You love this country very much, don't you?" And he says, "Yes, very much." And she gets the chance as a Russian to say, "I too love my country." And I was very touched by that. I was very touched by the opportunity to say for her side, and I loved how human they made that Russian
Oh
commissar.
no. And this was like 11 years before the wall came down. So, this was
But
still
we-
the height of the Soviet Union.
And we loved how human you made the character.
No, really.
I mean, you just it was something beautiful, and the chemistry that you and Bernie had together was so palpable and just leapt off the screen in such a beautiful way. I mean, it was truly one of my favorite episodes.
If they could if they could have found a way to bring me back somehow and have this continuing arc going with Doc, but how do you do that? She's gonna commute. So
Yeah.
but it really was so special.
Let me ask something about the show, because Bernie, you did 2 stunts in that show. You remember?
Yes.
You fell down backwards when you were having vodka in the dining room.
That was
and you fell into that laundry hamper. Now that was you, right? They didn't
that
dub
was
you for that.
me. Yeah,
How
no,
about that?
that was not a stunt person. That was me.
So,
Look out, Tom Cruise.
Bernie, did you hit your head and that's why you're like you are?
Oh, there, you got it.
How is he? How are you?
You tell
Oh
us.
man.
I'm
Oh,
better than I might be at my age.
I've been sort of following your other career when you weren't sailing on the boat, and I happened to see your was it a Columbo or a Monk? The one that I read about. Monk. It was
Monk,
Monk. It was Monk.
you monk.
You were just so it's so delightful to watch people who have established strongly a character in a series, see them, somewhere else, a different environment, costume, accent, maybe, or what, and see them spread their wings and throw you off your chair because they're like, wow, that's
Yeah.
powerful. Like Fred Grandy in the film that we didn't.
Yeah. Play the flute.
Yeah, he's like the best thing in it.
No, 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 no. Listen,
What
Loretta
was
and I
this
were in a
film? What
it
was
was
the
called
film?
Play the Flute. Loretta and I were in a movie together, but we were never together in a movie.
Yeah,
We had no
we
scenes.
weren't together,
Yeah.
so I get to watch him.
Yeah.
Would get to watch the performance and go, "Wow, he's so good," But best thing in the film, you,
Yeah.
and I was
Well,
second best.
yeah.
And
Well,
not a smaller
I would
part.
reverse that because you
Oh,
had a
on
very
a
important
smaller
role.
part.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why you were second best.
what did,
Otherwise, we were on equal footing there.
yeah. You didn't have to drive to Kentucky to do it, though, did you?
The heavens, no.
Well, I did. I had to drive in. It was right after Hurricane, what was her name? Hurricane Irma. And I was driving up from North Carolina and I was going to fly, but I couldn't because of the hurricane. So I had to drive all
Wow.
the way to Kentucky to do that. So you're lucky. You didn't have to go anywhere.
This is a long drive.
Yeah.
Did they give you mileage, Fred?
Yeah, they gave me mileage. What do you think?
Okay.
This was an under the table job or something? Come on,
No,
Loretta and I are professionals.
Okay.
We had union contracts.
All right.
So listen, I want to know a little bit because you guys had a rather poignant love scene,
Yes.
the process shot on the deck. Now, what kind of preparation did you have to do for that?
Well, I don't know if Bernie and I care to discuss that with you. That's a question I mean, I'll let me consult Bernie. What do you think?
Yes, dear. Ask me anything.
Well, what do you think? Do you think we should share our preparation, behind the scenes and working up to this wonderful love scene that we did?
Oh, that'd be a hot book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, come on, give
my
us a little taste of it, will you?
Were you in
gotta
the
tell
makeup
us.
room practicing?
I'm not sure those words are correct. Give us a little taste of what you did.
That's
A little
We're
taste.
we're not into Bernie and I are not into sharing, if you don't mind. That was a very
All right.
private preparation,
All
and
right, Loretta,
yes,
I
dear.
gotta tell you this. Before I met you, I thought this is what acting is, and then I met you, and I said, now I know what acting is because you are so beyond magnificent.
Woof.
so
Wow.
I
when
need a
was the
drink. I need a drink. Okay, wait.
Go, go.
when was the first time that you guys met? Was it on
Uh,
the
yeah,
pilot?
wanna
Was it
hold the phone for a second? I'm busy being overwhelmed, okay? When it but you have to also appreciate the source from which this comes. This is a man who knows the work. That's the highest compliment you pay a colleague. They know where the work is because it is work and they know the beats. And so to work with them, you just get better. You grow. So it's always Mulligan, for example. I've been gifted. I have worked with these wonderful people. So Bernie is one of those people. So when Bernie gives you a compliment, it's beyond being thrilled with a compliment. It's beyond getting a standing ovation from strangers who enjoyed your performance. But one on one, you're looking into this man's eyes and you're saying words that are coming from a different place, and he's answering those words with his. And so it's a very special sharing and moments that you treasure. And Bernie will always be that love of my life and from that episode, you
Can
see.
you put that in writing?
Well, I
As
bet a lot of
Recorded it for Christ's sake, isn't that?
yeah.
I think
It's already recorded.
Well, as his
I
castmates, we thank you for training him.
yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that when we were first doing Love Boat at 20th Century Fox, you guys were just a few sound stages away
Yeah,
on
they were
MASH.
next door. Weren't they next door to us?
Yeah, you were
They
right around the corner.
right, right.
But I don't remember your ever coming over to visit. Did you not like
I
us?
did. I did.
Well, it
You
said
were a
closed.
that
It said
doesn't count.
closed
Yes,
set.
You were like you were a little snippet.
that's right. Nobody cared that I was there, but I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, we always got the impression that MASH was a very close set, and they did not appreciate having visitors, even if we were fellow players. Was that true
Although
or not?
although Gary
I don't
Berghoff
I
used
don't
to
know
come
who gave
over.
you that impression. It was probably a Fox employee. It wasn't anybody on the show because we loved most of us were stage trained. We loved an audience. And fortunately, our crew loved the show. They loved being there, and they were
Mhm.
a great audience for us. Dominic Palmer, who was our cameraman for many seasons, he would sometimes ruin the shot because he was laughing and he was moving moving the camera. I was like, "Dom, come on, we're not gonna shoot it again. Stop laughing." But, I don't think we ever turned away guests. I
Oh, I
mean, we
wish.
couldn't have mobs, but, anybody who called and said, "Can I come?" I'm sure it was not a problem.
I would sneak over on my lunch hour.
You guys were like a family.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like Harry Morgan. When Mac was leaving, my heart was broken. I
Mhm.
loved Mac.
McLean Stevenson, we're talking
Yeah,
about.
McLean. And when he told me he was leaving, I was like, "How can you do that to me?" I was like, very personal. And he said, "Lorette, I know I'll never be in anything this good again." I said, "So you know that you
Really?
can still walk?" He said, "But I must go out there and try on my own, number 1, to be on my own." I said, "Mac, you just don't see the forest here. You are number 1." Mac, out of the gate, got a Golden Globe for the opening season. And he was really the head in that show until he left. He was really the one controlling, the character was, making us laugh and cry and.
But he must have not believed it himself, Loretta. I mean, if
Oh,
he
he
left.
just yeah, he really wanted to be number 1. What he didn't realize, bless his heart, Mac's gift was reacting, not acting, reacting, and
Mhm.
reacting to those bizarre characters that we were was what he was so funny reacting to us. He needed that because it fed him, and that was his gift. So when they put him in things that did not reflect that, he wasn't making it. But MASH was a perfect, perfect thing for him, but he just didn't see it, yeah.
Mm.
He
And then,
didn't
of course
recognize it, and
no,
that's sometimes the
yeah,
problem with actors. They don't realize what they're in at that time.
But
Like,
reacting is just as important as acting. As a matter of fact, that's really what acting is. I
I
learned all
agree.
of mine from Bernie Kopell because,
And
he,
you never paid me for it.
and I never will.
Let me go back to something else. In that same episode, the scenes between Gavin and Jill were absolutely
How'd
so
you
heartrending.
Yeah.
uh-huh,
And
uh,
Jill was all of 9 years old. I mean, this is you want to see perfect acting. You watch a kid, and Jill was,
Oh
you know,
God,
oh,
no, no.
9 years old, that's so vulgar, Jill.
I know. It is vulgar, and I still am.
More
The
than
thing
ever.
You're still 9.
no, no, out of almost, several
But
decades.
how
But
lucky for you to be surrounded by people who appreciated your young genius,
well, how lucky
They
for me to be surrounded by genius because
people when I was a little kid, and I I I was born to do what I do. Uh, I know that.
Amen to that.
Yeah, this is who I am, what I do.
Mhm.
So when I was a little kid, I was in dance class, for example, and very young. I don't know how old I was. Believe it or not, younger than 9. And they stood us up one day, one at a time, do a little something. Now, this little snippet, a child, I mean, really a baby, sang "Mañana." Remember? "Mañana, mañana,
Yeah.
mañana is good enough for me." Okay, so with the Spanish accent and everything, and the little hips going and everything, this little girl's, "Mañana." This little kid is doing this, and people in from the class are going crazy, laughing and enjoying it. My mother is humiliated. She doesn't know where to hide. And on the way home, oh my God, she punished me. "How could you do that?" And she's squeezing my hand. "Don't you ever do that again." So she crushed what was really the joy of performing at that age, doing, having fun. And it took me a while to get back on that. The very next week, the instructor wanted me to do it again, and I couldn't. I could do a version of it, but they saw that my mother had stopped it. So when I say how lucky you were to be recognized at that age that you had this gift, and it is a
Yeah.
gift. Come on, let's face it. No matter how long and hard you study, you begin with the germ of a gift.
So
It's
so what you've essentially told us is that you did not grow up in a show business family.
oy vey, oh, don't you dare. You're going to be a what? No,
Well, no,
no.
but I asked that because none of us did.
No.
And so that, I mean, that's something that we all share. I was actively told I had no talent, so that I should. No, I'm serious, Loretta. I was told that by my members of my immediate family.
Actively
You know,
told you have no
Wow.
yeah, no, no. And but I think, now tell me if I'm wrong, but I think sometimes that's all the motivation you need to say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to show you."
Motivation is this. James Drury, a rather handsome guy, and I
loved him. Oh, crush Bill.
were
Oh,
classmates at NYU. So I got drafted into the Navy, and I enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun. They made me a librarian. Jim says, "Bern, come on out to California. I got an agent for you." And I'm saying, "An agent? That's like a magic carpet thing." So I go to see his agent. And the first thing that happens is he takes a look at my bio, and he says, then he looks at me, gives me a real hard look, and he says, "You're not handsome enough to be a leading man. You're not ugly enough to be a heavy." And I was dismissed. And I said right away, "I better do something else." So I
I
became a character
get a
man.
backup plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my
Well,
backup plan.
well, Ted was told that he was supposed to be an auto mechanic, right?
Yeah, in
What?
high
What?
school.
Yeah.
High school, 1960s. They said that they wouldn't give me drama classes. I had to go in and beg for drama classes. They wouldn't give them to me because they wanted me to take auto shop. And that wasn't what I luckily I got locked into a theater by accident and watched a rehearsal, and that was it. I was done.
And
I
Teddy Bear,
couldn't.
that was no accident that you got
Yeah.
locked in. Everything happens for a reason. So
So,
that
Yeah.
was for you.
but
Yeah.
Loretta, that
Mhm.
that dance class that you had, Loretta, was that when you finally said, "This is what I'm going to do. This is going to be my
No,
life"?
no, that was a long time before. I when when I was a kid, lights out in the house, I would go under the covers with a lamp
Aha.
and read a book. Well, not too loud, but and I would do all the characters, men, women, children, animals,
Wow.
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
And when I got to my first acting class, I realized I had been rehearsing all my life.
There you go.
Yay,
Yep.
team.
You
Yep.
know, but no, it's all I ever wanted to do. And my mom, who was so against my career, loved film. It was our big connection as we both got older and more mature. But my mom would take me by the hand and we would go to a double feature. It was not a happy marriage. Okay. And
All
so
right.
that was escapism for her and probably every other housewife in the 30s and 40s and 50s.
What city did you grow up in?
What? New Jersey.
What? New Jersey,
So
okay.
so would go to the Central or the Montauk or the Palace. So I name all those theaters because would go in, see a double feature. That's how long ago it was. You with everything, the cartoon, the newsreel, the coming attractions, come out, Chinese food, end with rice pudding, no raisins, please. And would go to another theater for another 2 features. We would see 4 movies a day, and I mean, we wouldn't just sit there. I mean, we were into those movies, and so for her to not realize how the bonding that was going on, but anyway.
Do you think, Loretta, that maybe it was because I know for my mom, she did not want me to be in this business at all. And she wouldn't go with me to interviews. She'd say, I'll drive you, but I'm not going in. And this was in San
Now,
That
she
would
Francisco.
did
show
you a favor
Right.
that way.
that would that
Well,
show approval? Yeah.
right, right, right. But my question is, she was afraid of the industry. And so that's why she didn't. I wonder, do you think that might have been part of that for your mom, her reticence to allow you?
Uh, uh, it's very complex. Some of it was jealousy. Some of
Ah,
it
yeah,
Aha.
was, um, that should have been me, not my child,
sure, sure.
uh, which I kind of found out a little bit from my dad. Uh,
Mm,
but but overall, I think, yes, it's the fear that you're striking out on your own in the jungle of
Right.
New York City. What's gonna happen? The prostitution, and they're gonna rape her, they're gonna kill her, that some of that, not a lot. I think more of it was my mom, not my dad so much, but my mom wanted me to get married, live across the street or down a block, and have babies. This
Mm.
this was her plan, and I finally got a mouthpiece to say, "Mom, I'd die for you. I will not live for you. That is
Ah.
not
mm,
my future." This is, but there at that age, there's so much you say to your parents
right,
without being rude,
Yeah.
you don't, and
right.
I was a very good Catholic girl. I didn't talk back. I always listened. My brother too, we were good kids. They sent my brother after me, and, he would meet me in New York and try to talk me into coming home, or you
Oh,
can
God.
your life, you're doing the thing and the stuff, and, the first time he saw me on stage, he, came back and he put his arms around me and he said, "I understand.
See?
You
Oh,
belong here."
There's always that moment. Bernie, there was not a lot of support for you getting into this business, was there?
Well, my father was in the jewelry business, and, he led me to believe that the only way I could ever make a living was to become a jeweler as he was, and I said, "I don't really like that." I and
I
I
don't
got
really like that.
I got some encouragement from the teachers at
NYU?
NYU, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I got into the verse choir, and then the All-City Radio Workshop, which was great, great fun, and then I got into NYU, which
And now
was
you're doing radio again. All right, here we go.
I know, again.
My
Well,
dad, would encourage me behind my mother's back. You see, my mom was really she was she was a piece of work. She was
oh, that's interesting. That really, but I mean, that makes us all survivors. And to some degree, I think having that barrier makes you try a little harder because you want to prove them wrong, don't you?
No, I don't think that was in my case, but I
Okay.
think what it was, unconsciously, it did make me stronger because it was more difficult to do what I wanted to do. I was not looking to prove them wrong or prove myself right. I was looking to get on stage and wail. Even my auditions, people would say, "Yeah, I'm never nervous." Why? It's the only opportunity I have to get on stage in a Broadway house and sing my heart out and have them pay attention. But it was more about that than getting the job. It was getting there and doing it. And to this day, that serves me well. It's not nerves, it's the excitement of getting out there. When I told Cheetah, she said, "Oh my God." She says, "I'm supposed to be one of the best, and I'm a pack of nerves before I go out." Some people vomit, faint. I mean, they're like, "Oh." don't I appreciate that. I understand it, but I'm not acquainted with it. I can't wait, to so I whatever glitch, or I don't know what happened with me getting born. I wanted my own day, I wanted my own time, my own space. And when I struck out, I had 0 zip. I mean, I don't know what possessed me to think. I never said I was gonna try to be an actor. I said I was gonna be an actor. You didn't even dare tell people what you wanted. Well, one day I had the courage. I built up the courage, went to Sister Albine, Catholic education.
Hmm.
And Sister Albine, I said, I don't talk about this easily, but in my heart, I really want to be an actor. I want to be, and she said, I have a niece in the business. Let me talk to her about it and see if I can get you some advice. Well,
Wow.
All right.
for the next couple of weeks, she avoided me. I mean, I was trying to get, and
Mhm.
she would, and I'm very sensitive to that. She was like avoiding me. And I thought, all right, it's bad news. And so I finally cornered her. And she, what an actress she was. Oh, yes, I've been looking for you. Right. She said, I spoke to my niece and she said, the field is overcrowded. So you'd better forget it.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
wow. That was
Wow.
that was her advice. My feeling is maybe she did some cursory shopping, but I don't think she ever spoke to her niece. I mean,
Oh,
I just didn't believe it. I thought that was came from her neshuma, just forget it.
sure. Let me go back to the show that you and Bernie did together because I wanted, you've obviously worked with a lot of leading men, different people, and some have been better than others. When do you know, and this is a question for both of you, that it's really clicking?
Immediately.
I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah, it's either there or it ain't, and then you have to work hard to put it there. But no,
Because it looked
we
effortless. You
connect.
know what I'm saying?
We just connected.
You know what you're saying.
We connected also through the work. We use Bernie uses himself the way I use myself, and so Bernie and Loretta connected through these characters that they were we did the work. And you do the work, everything takes over. Am I right, Bernie? Y
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
just it's flying without a net. You don't need you've got it. You just do it.
That's trust too.
Yeah.
If you're
Yes.
flying without a net,
Loretta, every good thing that had to happen did happen between
Yes.
us.
Yes.
You shoving me into the laundry cart.
That worked perfectly. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, I'd wanted to do that for Bernie for 2 seasons, and
Yeah,
you got
there
to
you
do it.
go.
It really had everything,
Yeah.
you laughed with us and but it was poignant, it was touching, and, people wanted to talk about the episode for a long time with they would always bring it up and they would wanna talk about what happened, because for Doc, it was, a lovely revelation about his character, about who he was, which is what's wonderful when you have good people doing a series. They use that experience to explore how much they can bring out for everything.
Yeah.
So who thought Doc was gonna fall in love that way? Who, that he was gonna and actually get to the point where he says to her, "Stay here, don't go home, marry me," or,
Because
After he's
you
been
when
married 4 times.
because when you got that severe uniform off, you became a very attractive lady. Your hair was done nicely,
Oh, yes,
had a
and
nice
and you
That
crown.
wanted
beautiful white dress.
you
Yeah.
Oh,
wanted to take me to
Slinky.
Boogie. I said, "What's Boogie? What is Boogie?" You would go and boogie. It
And Slinky too, that's right, Fred.
so
thank you.
Yeah,
delicious.
I
Slinky.
was only hoping that, you'd come back again
Yes,
and
me
a few
too.
times more because you were so and you are so lovely, and I got really pissed at you for, taking advantage of me, putting me into bed.
Yeah.
Then I started yelling at you.
Oh my god, I loved that scene so
But
much.
but Bernie, that was really we'd done a season and about 8 shows. That was really your first serious show, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
So it's a great place to start.
It was the best episode I have
But
ever.
it was more than, serious. It was for Doc serious. For Doc,
Yeah.
but it was an element in his character we hadn't seen yet. And it was so warm and wonderful. It was such for the fans, it is wonderful experience to see one of their favorite characters blossom in a direction that did, it's a surprise and it's a wonderful thing. And I know I had the opportunity on MASH many times to reveal the different elements that composed this major, this Iron Major. And, I had to fight for it. That does not
Tell us, how did you
Yes.
audition? Did you have to audition or what was the
I
deal
had a
with
meet cute, and there was no script. Larry Gilbart, bless his heart, he works under pressure, like, the
Sure.
day before he gets out a script, you know?
Wow.
No script, and it was a while before we even shot the pilot, but they had an idea. I was very lucky from the time I arrived in Hollywood, I was working completely for CBS. I kept doing the CBS, and they owned the show at that point. They owned the networks. They had Gunsmoke, they had Mannix, they had Hawaii Five-O, they had big hits.
Yeah, right.
They were riding high, and my first job was on Gunsmoke, a brilliant English director with an attitude of like, "We wanna have lunch," and he introduced me to, Bill Watson. I was gonna have a love scene. He said, "I cannot bear the American idea that you can go on the set, be introduced, and get into a love scene. That's absurd." He said, "I wanted you 2 to get to know each other a little bit before you even read the script," and he was, like, a great director. And so I had the Gunsmoke, and then before I was finished, I had a call from Paramount, Millie Gussie. Everybody
Oh,
remember Millie
Millie
Gussie?
Gussie auditioned me for Love Boat and turned me down. That's how I know Millie Gussie.
You blame her?
Yeah.
I know.
Tough
Yeah,
with
she was.
her.
In retrospect, I see she was right.
She called me in she called me in to read for, a Mannix episode, and, Michael O'Hurley, anybody else
Yes.
with
Yes.
was he, like, absolutely the best? I loved this man. Oh, such a lovely director. He would give me images sometimes to work with. I I I shot Maddox, but I didn't know the gun was empty. I but if I pull the trigger subconsciously and subconsciously, I committed a murder, and she was a good person, and I always liked trying to find the good in whatever I was playing, the humanity, and so after I killed Mannix and he took the gun away from me, the look of disappointment and horror in a way, um, and walked away from me, and I was leaning against the mantle of a fireplace, and Michael comes over, he said, "Now what I want you to do is go down a staircase, go all the way down, just keep going down further and further and further and further and further until you lose sight and we lose sight, you disappear. Not physically, but your eyes, you're gonna go down and you're gonna disappear because you don't know how to cope with the fact that you just killed somebody." And I don't God, wow. And it was all in the eye, and that's what he wanted to see in my eyes. And as it happened, I started to not cried, but there was a tear that came down the nose, okay? How dramatic, I mean, you can't play
Perfect.
that. And, they ended. That was the end card. They'd never done that. They always end on Mike, but it was so right, you know?
Emotional. Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of eyes, the episode that you and Bernie did together and Jill did was directed by a guy named Roger Deshoney, who did a lot of our shows. But what he kind of pioneered, and I think it may have started on your show because the scenes with Gavin and Jill were so strong, and the scenes with you and Bernie were so strong, that Roger pushed in close-ups closer than he'd ever done with anybody on the show anyway. You remember this, Bernie?
Oh,
I
I
mean, it was
do.
so
I
tight.
remember it very well.
And
Yes.
Jill and Gavin, I mean, their faces were like landscapes.
Yes.
They absolutely filled the screen, and he did it with Jill and Gavin when they had their moment, and he did it with you and Bernie when you guys had your scenes.
And but that was the gift television could give us,
Yeah.
to
Mm.
go in like that, and you go inside when you get that close. Well, Bernie and I in that final scene when we're saying goodbye,
Mm.
we were really there was tight shots of our heads. I remember that.
No, right. And Roger really pioneered that. He was the first guy to really come in that close.
I saw the episode again last night, and I dreamt about it all night long.
Yeah.
I'm still dreaming about it right now.
Do you owe me money? I still have that lovely note that you sent me.
Will you share what the note says, or is it too personal?
It is personal. I'm happy to share it, but
Okay.
and no, it was his lovely, humorous left-handed way to say it was stunning. But he ended with, "To do it again with you would not be a bad thing."
Well,
Oh,
Th-
it's too bad the show lasted longer than the Soviet Union, so they could have brought you back, after you'd been decommissioned, and you could have worn the white dress again.
Yeah, but then you'd have to deal with Putin
Yeah, well,
or
or-
Putin.
But I really kind of enjoyed her in the beginning. That my hair pulled back and everything.
Yeah.
Lauren, she we're walking by the pool and the flowers are candles and
Yeah.
I'm looking at this absurdity right in her eyes, and I said to her, "Candles in the pool. That's your idea, right?" Yes.
Yeah.
It was
You look that up? That was funny.
it was so much fun. What is this garbage?
I have
Your
to
idea?
say that it was such a striking moment when you go from this very austere commandant to this soft
Boogie.
boogie,
The
slinky
boogie to
woman.
vodka and boogie.
I mean, it was just this
Which
palpable
That's what
moment.
love will do for you.
Yeah.
reacting again to Bernie, you can't do that. You can in your head plan that this is what's gonna be happening, but if you don't have a Bernie to be happening with, it's not gonna be as yeah, it's that simple. I know because, for example, I did Same Time Next Year with several different partners. I did love letters with several different partners, and when you have it, you know what you've got. Ted Bessel was an amazing George in Same Time Next Year. Amazing. Gene Sachs used to look at me in rehearsal and he'd say, he was born to play this character. He he
Hmm.
was he was George. And one night early on, we came off the stage and looked at each other as though we had been on another planet. I can't describe it any other way, which is like, woof, woof, woof. We never discussed it, but we just had this explosion of reality in the fiction. And anyway, but I had that every moment with Bernie. And of course, when you have it in front of a camera, it's really
Oh,
exciting
yeah.
because you're clicking in.
Yeah.
But
But I got to tell you, my favorite line in that episode actually was not with Bernie. It's when you come to Julie McCoy's door and you say, "I want to be slinky." Remember that?
that because I was gonna go boogie.
Yeah.
I already asked what is boogie.
Yeah.
So
What is
I
boogie?
had to find out what is slinky.
But then after that, we saw you in the white dress, and it was game over for everybody. You
Yeah.
know?
I also wore a kind of nifty black number. But it was fun for many reasons, getting her out of that tight officer outfit, but also from the actor point of view, getting out of the fatigues. That was always
Sure.
great fun for me to, have that. We who wore the green, after a while, everything is green. I would watch
Sure.
movies, my hair looked green. Everything was fatigue green. So So to break out in this, though she comes in tough, but then melts into this glamour girl doing boogie,
Yeah.
Slinky,
It was classic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. And
yeah.
the white dress was the perfect choice for it because she came in as this very, as you
And
say,
she became a virginal.
right, but and yes, this angelical, it's almost like you had a halo over you, and just it was. I mean, to this day, I
Well,
can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I remember you in that dress, and I remember how I felt when I saw you come on camera, and the softness, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch.
oh, that's lovely. Thank you. A a part of what I remember working on, even subconsciously, when I attacked any role, always to find that core of goodness because, like Anne Frank, I do believe in the goodness of people, everywhere, all of us. We have humanity has a goodness that I will believe always, no matter what. If they're crucifying me, I will hang on to that thought the way this little child did.
Mm.
She's gonna
Mm.
die any second, and she believes it. And so I think it's imperative you have that going into a role, going into believing that core is there. So I played a psychotic killer at one point and tried to find, not to justify the killings, she killed people, but to find that core in her that made her do that. What sickness,
Mhm.
so that by the end, when she was captured and they were taking a wig off her, she was just trying to kill somebody. And it was so, you felt sorry for her. You felt sorry that she had that disease or whatever. And that's what I kind of look at. What I went on tour with Bill Holden for SOB, the film that we did. And
Okay.
Bill, one day would tour, it was a press tour. We were sitting at a table, Mulligan and Bill Holden and myself. And Bill, who never fancied himself, by the way, an actor, he was, he doing a job, but he was a fabulous natural actor. But when he started talking about what he was doing, he may not realize it, but he knew the work. And he said, I always start out finding out what was good about the character because if you look at my resume, I play heels. All the guys that I play, look at them, and you start to realize he's absolutely right. Sunset Boulevard, the guy's a heel. He's a but
Mhm.
when he winds up, you see the goodness in him. He falls in love with the innocent girl. He wants to leave this woman who's being deceived. She's by the studio, but and so and he went through all of his why. Why? He was an absolute heel. He was a coward. He was a pretend user, and he ends up trying to shoot the mad guy who's caused this chaos. He says, and dies.
Mm.
Well, and he was talking about that, and I thought, God, Mulligan and I were looking at each other like somebody taking this down on tape or something. Well, he was talking about growing from that core and showing nobody's a total heel. This is who he really was. And so I became aware of that in my work as well, looking for you had to you had to look for the good in Houlihan when I began because they were writing her like she was
Oh, yeah, they
like she
did, huh?
was Eileen Brennan, who
Yeah.
I adored, but she played a character in Benjamin, for example.
Mhm.
That's not what Houlihan was,
Mm.
nor was Benjamin what we did in the series, so
Yeah.
but
But I mean, obviously, and I think we probably went through the same thing you did, although perhaps
oh,
not quite
yes,
as deeply.
you did.
But if you're good in your character when you start out, eventually you can educate the writers to write for the character you want to play. And I think
Make a more dimensional
all of
character.
us
Yes.
got to that point.
You can try.
In our maybe it took us a little longer than it
That
took you because I don't think we were as actor focused as you were. But the fact of the matter is, if you stay on a show for a long time and it's a success, eventually, if you're good enough, you will convince and teach the writers to write the way you want to play the part.
Wasn't the writers so much the problem, it was the producers, not Gelbart, but it was they they came off of Hogan's Heroes
Oh,
and
okay.
John Wayne movies, and, and this was not what we saw in what we were doing. We were playing real people at the front in Korea, me especially, the women in Korea that I commanded volunteered to be there. The coldest country on the planet and
Right.
the hottest country on the planet. The things that killed us in Korea was number one, frostbite, number two, snake bite, and then the war.
Mm.
These women volunteered. They were not drafted. I'm not putting the knock on the guys who were drafted. All I'm saying is these women just did it. And you can't I can't play a part like Schultze, in Hogan's. I can't. That guy. I took her very seriously, and when I began, I said to Gelbart, "You have to know in advance. My aim will be to be the best goddamn head nurse in Korea. That will be my goal."
Yes.
That
They're only concerned, is it going to be funny? I said, trust me, I'll be funny if I'm dying. I can be funny. Just give me the
so,
opportunity
uh,
to make
are you hearing this, guys? They had problems with their producers too.
What a shock.
What a shock. I'm stunned to hear this. What? You
But
didn't get the
that
producers
is
didn't understand? I'm stunned. How could that be?
Alan Alda said to me, "You've got a tough hoe here because you and Larry Linville are so funny and great together. They're gonna have the writers now he's talking about. They don't want to let go of those laughs. They're coming
Right.
in, they're there. You guys are, and so they're not going to be easy to convince." And I would come back from PA tours, people, fans, what are you doing with that character? Where does Mark? They recognized before the writers that this is not a possible for Margaret. He's married, there's no future. He's an imbecile. Why is she going with this joke of the army that everybody's putting him down? He's not a good surgeon. Ah, very important. She admired, and she may have been angry with the surgeons. She admired what they were doing. Frank was losing patience. I mean, he was being criticized for his lack of expertise. What is she doing with this guy? Okay, number one, you have her loneliness.
Ah,
So, but then you don't write these spectacular love scenes, and you have to see through why she's there. Oh, Frank, you know what? Wait, you have to see the frustration, and at the end of towards the end of the second or third season. Well, it was 76 probably. I was in New York doing a play, and the boys called me and said, "Let's have a conference. We're on hiatus. We want to hear what your thoughts are for the next season for Margaret." And I took them through
wow.
what I yeah, I did this was major breakthrough, major. And
Yes.
well, here's what I think. Number 1, send her to Tokyo on R&R. Let her meet a guy who outranks Frank. Don't make him a doctor. Make him a lieutenant colonel and give him make him a little tall, dark, and handsome. Let's see something that she would go for and get engaged. Can you imagine Linville when I come back to the 4077 with a ring and we I said he'll tear off the doors of the tent. And that's exactly what he did, by the way, because as a joke we were talking about. And they were loving it. They thought it was a good idea. Now, Gene Reynolds says to me, "Well, Switness, her Switness." He said, "What happens now? What happens next?" I said, "She gets married, no?" "Oh, gee, that's so permanent." I said, "Gene, you're divorced. How are you gonna what do you what is permanent to you?" I said, "She catches him being disloyal, and then she's back in town, realizing she doesn't need these goons to complete her life. She is so she's blossoming through this pain and hardship. She also, through this, Alan writes a script. She has a meeting of the bodies and the mind under fire with Alan Alda's character.
Mhm.
And that layers their relationship in a very bountiful way.
I love that episode so much.
I
Well,
remember that
Oh,
episode
I love it so
very
much.
vividly. Yes.
A really good friendship, and it still can be fun. If we broke the rules, we can still be funny and do serious stuff. We can have you laughing, but we'll have you crying and laughing at yourselves. And so I think that was the greatness, if you will, the MASH and the writers. They had us run the gamuts, wasn't just the one thing. Also, my character broke a barrier in terms of growth. Most of the characters on television, in my category, let's say, stayed the same for as long as they're on. They never grew, they never changed. That makes it unreal. We change every 5 minutes. When I leave, I'm going to be changed by the time I get home. We change, we grow. And we have to allow the character that we're doing to do that, or we're going to lose our audience.
I wanted to take a moment, and you just absolutely illustrated what I was going to say, was that coming from Hogan's Heroes writing or from John Wayne films, the way they wrote women then and what you did with your character, the Major, was, I think, so groundbreaking
Yeah.
because it was one of the very first characters that was not just TNA. It was not just a pretty face. It was so much more. And it was so rich and so interesting and so conflicted and yet so wonderful to watch. You hated her arrogance, but God, you just loved her conviction. And all of those things made you so interesting to watch.
on our show, it was a different experience, and I think that, and I will poll my colleagues on this, but I don't think we got to even get close to that kind of experience until we started to write episodes ourselves. I
Yeah,
mean, Bernie
that's
and
true.
I wrote an episode for Ted the first season. I wrote one for Bernie. It was an effort at survival because we were probably programmed to stay exactly the same, which is what you were talking about with women. Well, we were comic foils for the most part, Ted, Bernie, and me. And unless we figured out a way to grow, we weren't that wasn't going to happen.
Mhm.
Well,
And
once they found the joke, they were going to hit that joke every week.
every time.
That they did not pay attention to the evolution, but thank goodness the show ran for a long time and it had to evolve.
13 years.
We
13
outlasted
years.
them, Loretta.
Yeah.
We survived.
Your episodes were peppered enough with really good people.
Yes. Well, you make us look good. I mean, when we get somebody like you on the show, it obviously it upgrades our status
No,
because
we know what it does is bring out the best in all of us. We need each other to be as good as we can be. We're all saying, feeling at least the same thing. We need each other. That they call MASH this great family, but you get a group of actors together who are doing that kind of work. They are a family. They are a creative, wonderful, juicy family. But I think loving what we do is crucial. It's the most.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so much fun. It feels good.
Yes.
And we're so happy you got to share our family because we did become a family, much like your cast in MASH.
yeah.
Yes.
So the fact that you came over to where we like to play and you played with us is absolutely wonderful.
And you're playing with us now. I
It
mean,
was-
come on. We can't thank you enough for doing this show. We're
I
trying to
was
get this
looking
off the
forward to
ground.
it from the time my friend called me.
And
and-
when you said we want to have Bernie, we took a vote, and he still won. But
I don't need
I
any more of this abuse.
yeah. I've got
Well,
to
where do
say
you
though,
usually take it?
yeah. But that episode that you guys did is one of the classics. It's
It
one
is
of
a
the classics.
classic. It is a classic.
Ernie's a
And
classic. You
so
guys composed a classic. What is the definition of a classic? It lasts forever.
Thanks for listening to the Love Boat Podcast, Exciting and New. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, leave us a rating and review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow along between episodes at loveboatpodcast.com or on Instagram at loveboatpodcast.
There you go. The Love Boat Podcast featuring Loretta Swit. She sounded so great, so full of life. That was the Loretta we knew and loved, and loved hearing her again. Loved hearing those stories.
Yeah. And it's great to hear everybody from the Love Boat discussing all of that they discussed with Loretta. And it is so wonderful to hear her talk about something that was important to her. And she's a wonderful person, and we miss her and love her. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Love Boat Podcast, for doing that.
And again, if you enjoyed this tribute to Loretta, check out the Love Boat Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your favorite podcast app. You can also find all the information there at loveboatpodcast.com. And until next time, here's looking up your old address.